Hey, it's me, woo! So people have said they like my personal style and they are curious of how I'm finding all these thrift store things. So I thought I would combine those two things into a vlog, as the kids say. And I'm going to go around to various thrift stores that are my pick-in spots and new places I haven't been to before, and just see what kind of stuff I can find for you guys. Putting together, you know, red carpet stuff, vintage dapper stuff. I guess really the concept here is combining kind of my tomboy style with thrifting. So let's see how it works. So here's Groveland, super cute, super old-fashioned-y, gold rush town. Also, it's a retirement community. I am not retired, but there's a lot of retirees that live here, which makes for really good thrifting and really good style. I found some really nice things at Helping Hands Thrift Store, which does a lot of work for the community, so there are good people in there. I like to support local charities when I can. And let's see, ooh, sale, sale, sale. Let me stop at the ties, just because you never know when you're going to find something amazing. And it looks like these are all just modern. You can tell because it has that. Has a lining. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything old. Now these are nice. These are always nice to have, this style. A square knit type. It's got some bites in it though. That's no good. That, no, nothing super great in the tie department today.
I got arthritis all the way down my spine. Yeah, me too. Do you have fake flowers?
Maybe.
If we do, they're cut up, you know, up where the plants are? Yeah.
Kind of like that. Ooh, I like those pockets. Not half off. This particular place has a boutique rack, which means kind of higher end, nicer stuff. Leather jackets are going to be on here. The famous pants that I wore on that panel came from this rack for $10. There's some nicer things in here. The general shirt rack can be fun or tragic, depending on what the donations have been. Try and hold that in my other hand. Hold on. Sorry, I'm new at this. I always look for a top button. Aha. I can wear that with a tie. Extra small, but it might work. Long sleeve with contrasting cuff. Let's give it a try. No. Don't be afraid to look at the boys' things if you're petite, as I am. I spotted this, and then, oops, no, not. Otherwise, great shirt, but that is not going to work. Oh no, the vest. Oh no, it's got holes. Shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot. It's wool. Okay, this guy. Fits a little big. It's kind of big in the arms, and there are no buttons on the cuffs, and you know what's going to happen with that. You know what's going to happen with no buttons on the cuffs? They're going to stick out like insanity. Like, get caught in everything and be generally annoying. No. You know, I went back to the rack and thought, this is kind of fun for pattern matching, possibly. And check this out. Coconut buttons. Not a fan of 3/4 sleeves, but if they can be folded up, and with this diagonal, it might work really well with like a plain blue tie, black tie, denim tie, one of those knit ties. And nothing, floral actually probably would work with this too. So I'm going to get this guy. casual, comfy, 100% rayon, and those buttons. I freaking love these buttons. Oh, another keeper at a good price. It's hilarious. I came back to get this glass here for my toothbrush stand at home, and this was right here, like someone left it for me, and then there's another one. Haha, fate. And look. Hey, me again. So here's one more look at the rayon Hawaiian shirt that has that great blue fabric, a little bit shimmery, nice drape, and those coconut buttons. Freaking love those. They're so cute. So that's going to look great in a casual setting. But now, haha, the one with the kind of diagonal diamond pattern on it. It's going to look great with a ton of the different ties that I have. Ta-da! Now, what's going to work with this shirt? Most of these are vintage ties, some are not, but let's go through and have a look. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about ties, vintage ties, and pattern matching, or what works and what doesn't. Now, I've put things at a little bit of a diagonal so you can see these 30s brocades tend to have a lot of color play and shimmer, so that's why I've kind of put things at an angle. But this one works great with the diagonal. It's a Carruthers Brothers from the 1930s, which I love. This is one of my favorites. Thank you, Neil, I think it was, or Perry. Oh, I don't remember now, but I have a couple good friends who have vintage ties, so that one works. But does this work? You know, I think it kind of does, just because the color's a little different, the tone's a little different. You've got two different kind of, well, plaids, but diagonals kind of going on here. But I think it does work because they are so different, and because the tie is darker. It's a contrast. It's not like going matchy-matchy, you know. So there's a 60s washable Wembley. Let's talk about what doesn't work. I pulled this out because I knew this was going to be terrible and obnoxious. Yeah, no. Partly it has no blue in it. It does have a little bit of slate gray, but it's like really, really subtle. It's like way down in there. You might be able to get away with it in some circumstances, but I think in general it's kind of obnoxious, and I wouldn't do it. This one is a one I found at the thrift store for 50 cents. Hey. There we go. Wallace & Wallace. It was a men's clothiers. They had some branches in the Bay Area. It is wool. Now back to my favorite, which is 30s brocades, and this is probably, for reasons that should be obvious for anyone who knows my work, probably my favorite tie, and it's in my my headshot right now, my current headshot with the angel wings, yay! But once again, yep, that works because it's not matchy-matchy. It's a nice contrast. Red and blue always go well together. I like it. Here's a vintage skinny. Now this is an example of something that's probably just too much. It's vintage. It's cool. It's skinny. I like the colors of the tie, but not with this shirt because of the diagonals. Because it's just too diagonal, and it's not a solid enough pattern. It goes for red and black. It's kind of just all trying to do too much, and I don't think it works. You may think it works. If you do, go for it. More power to you. All right, so here's another 30s brocade. And again, this one really works because of the blues. It's darker. It's got a lot of light and color play in it. Goes well. We'll go to a late 40s swing tie. Yeah, I don't know. This one, you know, it's okay. It doesn't really do a lot for me with this shirt. I wouldn't pick it. I mean, there's so many better choices. let's go with another late 40s swing tie. And the reason these are so exuberant is that post-war people were celebrating and getting materials back into the public that had not been available during the war, like silks and rayons and things that were in short supply. So we have a lot of bright colors. We have a lot of interesting, happy patterns, loud patterns, some would say, just because everybody was feeling good about that time. This, I think, does work because it's not a symmetrical pattern. It does have a little bit of blue in it. It's not quite the right blue. The shirt's more of like a slate baby blue-ish, and this is almost wandering a little bit over into a purple. So it's like, it's on the edge. It kind of works, kind of doesn't, once again. Here's another 30s brocade. Yeah, this one does not have a label. A lot of these old ones don't have a label, or the label is gone. But this has little bits of blue in it, these little squares, that match really beautifully with this shirt. So this would work really well, in part because of those little blue squares. So you can see the color play of that. This one's a pattern tie. This is probably more like late 20s. Botany wrinkle proof. But I think it's cotton. Yeah, it doesn't say actually, but let's see. But does it work? That's the important thing. The color's good. It's a small pattern contrasting with the large pattern of the diagonal. So, and then the color also helps it out a lot too. I've not found a lot of shirts that will actually work with this tie, or vice versa. This tie won't work with a lot of the shirts I have, because this red is like a really bright red, these little dots. It's like almost a scarlet red, and it's with a lot of things just like kind of hideous. But with this shirt, it actually works pretty well. So that seems like a winner. And then here's an 80s skinny tie that I've worn with some other things. Commentary from the cat there. Hi, cat. And it's got some blues in it. They're not the same blues, but they're not a bad different blue like with the swing tie where that one was wandering into the purple. That's not doing that here. So it's like in the same kind of color family. And the geometrics though, but does it work? That's the question. Does it work? It's close. It's a little weird. I don't think I'd do it just because of the verticalness of the lines on this tie and the similar tone of the silver with the blue. It's not darker, it's not lighter. And that with the diamond diagonal of the shirt fabric is just a little weird. I don't think I'd do it. Okay, now I've pulled a bunch of modern ties. Some look vintage, like this one, which is a nice, which is this? This is, the Giorgio Armani, I believe it's silk. Got this in a batch of ones that I just liked it. I just went back to it. I was like, I'm going to keep that. I just like it. It just goes with denim and a lot of things. And, yep, I think it definitely works well. Definitely works well with this shirt. Because it's not geometric, and it is in the same kind of color family. It's a little darker, and it's got an interesting pattern, so that does work in my opinion. Here's another silk. It's a Chinese silk that just goes with everything. As you can see, the colors, I mean, it's got a lot of light play, and it's got kind of, black, green, mauve, denim blue, kind of a rust. It goes with just about anything. Does it go with this shirt? Yeah, I think it does, because the blue is like exactly the same blue. Got kind of a slate blue, and there's enough color play and enough pattern and enough contrast going on that I think it does work. So let's see, let me pull one that my friend Ginger got me. This is a pattern that's from the tiles of an old, I guess, insane asylum is not what they're called anymore, but at the time it was called an asylum. And so anyway, so this is kind of hilarious, and I love this tie because of the history of what the design is. I think, frankly, I'm going to narrow it down. I'm going to cut it down so it's narrower. I've done that with a couple of modern ties. It's actually from Zazzle, and the other side is interesting also. I wish it could be reversible, actually, because in some ways this other side kind of works better with some things I have. But I'm probably going to, because the thing is, on a small frame, on a woman or on a very small man, a tie that's this wide is just becomes kind of cartoonish and makes you look even tinier than you already are. And it just kind of doesn't work. It's just like, wow, that tie is really huge on you and looks a bit silly. So I'm gonna narrow that. But you know, it's kind of fun on this shirt, just because of the bright colors and the contrast. But at the end of the decision-making process, I think it's just too busy. There's too many lines going on here. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna work for me. This is a nice go-to. Can't beat it. Just a simple floral with a nice damask fabric. And it's modern, just McGregor. It's nice. Made in the USA, which is always also nice. And of course, you know, because it's not a geometric pattern and darker than the shirt itself and has those blues it picks up, I think that looks great. So that's a good choice. Here's a woolly, just for the heck of it. Modern Yves Saint Laurent. Italian made, yep, Italian made. So this would be nice for fall. You know, kind of almost a collegiate look. You could, you know, wear that in a school setting or anywhere that, you know, you want to get that hint of fall. So because you've got the 3/4 sleeves, which if rolled up are essentially short sleeve. Here's another woolly. And even though it's on the diagonal, again, because of those contrasting colors, contrasting pattern, it somehow just kind of works. And the wool takes it down a notch, you know, because some of these things are really shiny. And this just looks comfy. This just looks like a nice pattern matching / contrast situation. And I like it. Black paisley. Just a simple tone on tone. It works. It's not particularly exciting or attention grabbing, but I mean, you know, in a conservative office, why not? You know, it's okay. Doesn't grab me, but it's fine. There's a skinny. This is string beans, which is probably an 80s tie then. So it does have basically a pattern, but it's not like lines. So so it works, and it's got, again, that, you know, kind of silky shimmer that it has. I think it's raw silk. Red and blue work well together. They're a nice contrast. I'd say it works. It's probably not one of the better combinations, but, you know, it works. Can you have too much plaid? I like this because of, see how the play is on this? I like that a lot. In general, for this tie, it's just a nice tie, but does it work on this shirt? I think it kind of does, just because it's a smaller set of lines. Again, we got those big squares kind of happening on the shirt. This is smaller, darker, it's got a lot of action, so it kind of makes the pattern on the shirt recede, and you pay more attention to the tie, which has got a little bit of that yellow color going on. So yeah, you know, it works, sure. Paisley. This is one of the first ties I got. It's actually kind of terrible because it's Mervyn's. It's completely synthetic. It's like stiff and awful. But you know what? It goes with kind of everything, and it's the old standard Paisley tie. It has a little bit of that metallic gold, which is actually really kind of cool. And that looks good with black or red or anything. But does it work with this? You be the judge. I say, yeah. A couple more and then we're done out of this. What do we got here? This is random thing at random thrift shop, probably 50 cents, but look at that. That's what I like. I love that. See, I love that color play. That woven silk. This is not silk, but it has that same kind of action where it'll do that. And does it work with this? It could be a little darker. You know, it's kind of losing a little contrast because it's just so subtle. But yeah, I think it does. One more. We've got an Oscar de la Renta. Ooh, fancy. It's got blues. It's got kind of that burgundy, black, green, gold. There's a lot going on with this one. You know, it's not a particularly interesting design. I liked it just because the colors are nice. It's got that color play I like, and it does have some kind of wing motifs on there. I thought it would go with a lot of things when I picked it up. Again, thrift store, 50 cents. Does it go with this shirt? Yeah, sure. I have no problems with it. I mean, again, it's not like, wow, but it's like, yeah, you know, that works. So this has been my super exciting tour of most of my necktie collection. Well, about 2/3 of my necktie collection. And we'll end with my cat. If you liked what you saw, Checkers does, then hit subscribe, hit like, do whatever the kids do. And if you liked it, I'll do more. I'll see you next time.